Welcome to a deadline stream for Game Week 21. This is an early one, and it's a miserable day in London, but here we are. I have made transfers, and I will be answering any of your questions, and thank you to everyone who has joined in. It is very early. And as you can see here, maybe a few problems here, especially with the captaincy. I still haven't fully settled on it yet, and a few days ago I was pretty much set on a Spurs player, probably, if not Gundogan or Cancelo, but now with Kane being injured, that kind of puts off the prospect of Spurs assets, and then bringing in Calvert-Lewin, he's a fantastic option, and I'll be discussing that very shortly. And yeah, I mean, maybe the City defenders is the way to go for now until the fixtures turn. And Gundogan, he has been in such great form, and I've been discussing him for weeks. I finally brought him in. Same with Calvert-Lewin, for a -4, in for Bissouma, and for Kane. Let's see how that turns out. Hopefully none of this, mind games from Mourinho, and then Kane ends up playing and gets 18 points like Son did against Manchester United. But thank you to everyone who's here. Nabwa Hussain says, thoughts on Antonio to Ings? Nah, I mean, I wouldn't get rid of Antonio just because he has one tough fixture. I know the fixtures do turn soon after that on a quite long-term basis, but still, I mean, why would you get rid of him when he's got Villa away, Fulham away, and Sheffield at home? Those are pretty good fixtures. But I will be discussing Sheffield in a bit because, you know what, they're not as bad as we thought, or at least in the last few game weeks they have improved, which kind of, I want to say, puts me off captaining Gundogan, but it does maybe make me think twice about it. Then after that, yeah, the fixtures do turn for the worse, but Antonio can still score against Tottenham. He has a decent record against them. He scored a bicycle kick against Manchester City earlier this season, although I wouldn't expect him to score at the Etihad. But still, I think for now, he's a good asset. I wouldn't get rid of him just yet. And Southampton's fixtures are tough. I would not get rid of Antonio for Ings. Liam asks, Kane and Soucek to DCL and Gundogan. On paper, those look like very good moves. But if we're being honest, Soucek is so difficult to predict. Last week I was pretty much telling people, you know what, if you can maybe move to a more, maybe someone like Son or something, then do it. But look what he did. He ended up outscoring most midfielders comfortably. So Soucek is a difficult one, but as for the other one, Kane, he is injured. Most likely he won't play for the next few game weeks. So yeah, I think those are good moves. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a great captaincy choice, and I might change the captaincy here on stream to him. I know he hasn't been too good in the Premier League recently, but Newcastle are probably one of the best teams. There's a big difference between their defenses. Newcastle are second worst for expected goals conceded over the last 4 game weeks. 8 over 8. Only West Brom have worse. And then when you look at Sheffield, they're actually the 7th best in terms of expected goals conceded, which is incredible, really. I think it's 3.28. That's outstanding compared to Newcastle. So that kind of makes me think twice. But then again, City are a much better team than most, and they're better than Everton. But still, Calvert-Lewin does have Digne back. He's playing in an advanced position. You have James Rodriguez. You have all these players. So that's a difficult one. And as always, this is my bench, and it doesn't look too good, does it? But Bamford's the first sub. What I could have done is maybe just not take the -4, not get Calvert-Lewin in, and just have Bamford come in, and maybe he'll do something. But I don't know. I have no confidence in Bamford at the moment, and I think Calvert-Lewin's ceiling is quite high, which is what tempted me to do the hit. Because with Walker Peters, for example, he's definitely out. I'm not too sure about getting rid of him, for a hit. Because with defenders, it's really hard for it to pay off. So you know what? I might as well play Mitchell, and if not, Soufal does come on. Hopefully, both City defenders do play, because it would be a bit of a disaster if one of them were to miss out. But yeah, that's how it looks at the moment. My bench. Marcus says Saka plus Wilson to Son plus DCL on a -4. That's a tough one. I mean, before the Kane injury, I would have said definitely yes. And I think Son will be the talisman. He will be on penalties most likely. And I think in terms of goals, I don't think he's going to have a huge drop-off. But in terms of assists, which he has been getting quite a few of recently, the assists are going to drop off massively compared to beforehand, because most of his assists this season have been to Kane, and even in general throughout his Spurs career. Yeah, if you look at this season, most of his goals are assisted by Kane, so he's going to miss that creativity, but I do think Spurs will change their style without Kane. Kane doesn't suit a counter-attacking style too much in terms of, with raw pace and all of that. But he does help with his passes, with the positions he occupies and stuff like that. So it's a tough one. You know what? I still would say go for it, because long-term, I believe those assets are better. And I'd definitely get rid of Wilson. Newcastle are looking poor. He might get some hauls here and there. He's a good player, but Newcastle are awful. So I would take the hit. But just bear in mind that Kane not being there would have a very big impact on Spurs overall. So maybe Son's ceiling is going to be lower now. That doesn't mean he's not going to return again, but just take that into mind. And moving on to the next one. Whom to transfer in for Wilson, asked Data. Watkins or DCL? Yeah, it has to be DCL in my opinion. Watkins is good. He's been doing pretty well recently. He's got some good fixtures coming up. I've been talking about Martinez and Grealish in my team and the fixtures they have up until, March and April. But I would still go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's also got some double game weeks coming up, so I'd probably go for one of them. Choose one to start. DCL, Soucek, Bamford. Definitely DCL. I mean, there's no debate about that. Soucek might do something against Liverpool. They do struggle a bit from set pieces and from aerial threat. But I would go for DCL, no doubt about it. Is it worth to transfer in Son/Kane? Not worth transferring in Kane because most likely he's not going to play. Son, it's still worth transferring him in, but it's not as appealing as it was before. And if you have Son, I would say don't sell him. However, in terms of captaincy, I'm not too convinced. And either way, Brighton have some very good statistics at home defensively. But yeah, with Kane being injured, the appeal of Spurs assets have diminished, even Son. But I still think he's one of the best assets to own overall. Ninad says, Antonio, Bamford, Rafinha, which one will you bench? Probably Bamford at this rate, but it's a tough one because if they start passing it to Bamford, and this is something I discussed in my last video, he can get some goals, but Rafinha and other players were being really greedy. They weren't giving the ball to him. But then again, whenever the ball went to Bamford, he was a disaster. So yeah, it's a tough one. I would probably bench Bamford, but you know what? There's not much to split all of them. Antonio has a really tough fixture. Rafinha and Bamford, I mean, who knows? One week it will be Rafinha hauling, the next will be Bamford. Hopefully Bamford doesn't do anything if he's on my bench. Obviously I could maybe bring him last minute. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard with Bamford at the moment, but he's still, remember his price and remember how many points he's got so far this season. Antonio or Bamford to start. I would start Antonio probably, but there's not much to split them. I'm not fully set on putting Antonio instead of Bamford, so it's a tough one. It's almost 50-50. If Antonio had a slightly better fixture, I'd definitely go for him. The form, the statistics, West Ham at the moment, much better than Leeds, especially offensively. So maybe Antonio is the logical choice. But then again, who knows at this point. Leicester and Liverpool quite similar in terms of level at the moment. But I don't know. I still just don't fancy both of them, really. I think both of them might blank. We'll have to wait and see, though, what happens. And let's see. The chat hasn't updated yet. Apologies. So, yeah, I have to refresh it. Let's see. Yeah, can we have a look at the bench? Yeah, I've shown it before, but if you want to see it again, let's actually... let's get out of here. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, Yeah, hopefully you can see everything now. There you go. Should I bring in Grealish or Son for Soucek or Smith Rowe? That's a tough one. Grealish and Son, both great long-term assets. Either one of them will do you good. And for Soucek or Smith Rowe, probably for Smith Rowe. And Soucek is a great option to have from your bench, also as your fifth midfielder. So I would get rid of Smith Rowe probably. And at the moment, I'd probably say Grealish, but there's not much to split them. And Grealish is still one yellow card away from suspension, so bear that in mind. Son is still going to be good. You can't go wrong with either of them. I would try to have both of them if you can, but if not, then maybe at the moment Grealish, but that's only because Son has Chelsea after this, and then he's got City soon and stuff like that. But that's a really tough one. Will Cancelo start? I wish I knew the answer to that. I think he will, but there is a chance that Pep goes with Walker on the right. He hasn't played yet since his return from injury, and he'll put Zinchenko on the left. He might do that, so that's why I'm a bit put off captaining Cancelo. There's always the risk of rotation with him. And when you talk about Gundogan, for example, this is something I haven't said in today's stream. Pep Guardiola yesterday in his press conference said that Gundogan he will start against Sheffield. So unless he's trolling, it's probably the best thing that, a manager can tell you. But let's wait and see what Pep does. -4 to bring in Cancelo for Alioski. I mean, it is a long-term move, but in order for it to pay off in the short term, Cancelo would have to get a clean sheet and maybe an attacking return. There's no guarantee of either of them happening, although, according to all these, statistics and stuff, Cancelo has a 70% chance of keeping a clean sheet. But what if he doesn't start? There's a lot of ifs and buts there. I'd probably still do it, but it's really risky, so it's up to you. I don't think it'll pay off in the short term. In the long term, however, it will. And Alioski and Leeds defenders, they just look poor. Dallas is the only one you could maybe consider. But even then, I mean, not too not too convinced with Leeds assets at the moment. Start Soucek or Bamford? To be honest, at this rate, I'd probably start Soucek, but I don't know. It's really hard to predict Soucek's source of points. You look at West Brom during the double game week, they struggle from set pieces, they struggle from corners and from aerial threat. They didn't concede to Soucek. Soucek blanked twice in a row when everyone brought him in. Then everyone benched him or they sold him. And then he does really well against Palace, who, to be fair, also struggle from the same type of goals. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably go for Soucek at the moment, but it's a tough one, you know. Bamford's ceiling is arguably higher because of the fixture, but that's a tough one to answer. I captain Salah. I want to know your reaction. This is something I've said to people before. This might be the best time to captain Salah. You know, everyone's off him, everyone's getting rid of him, everyone's maybe, you know, not even thinking about the captaincy because, obviously, of the 6 blanks in a row. But Salah is still, you know, a great player. Still some really good fixtures coming up, and I'm actually considering captaining him for Game Week 22 against Brighton. Against West Ham, though, because of how decent West Ham have been, I think his ceiling might be lower compared to years gone by. And I remember in the double game week last year, he did really well against West Ham, but West Ham are a different entity this season. But still, I think it could be good. Bench 2, Bamford, Adams, Rafinha, Zuma. Zuma's probably not going to play, to be honest. But you know what? Just start him just in case. But he'll probably be on your bench. So in that case, I'd probably say bench Bamford and Adams, probably. 2 out of 4, Antonio, Bamford, Justin, Adams. I'd probably start Justin and maybe Che Adams, if not Antonio. Bamford to DCL for a hit. Ooh. I mean, in my case, I got Calvert-Lewin in for a hit, but it's for a player who's most likely injured for a few weeks. If you think he's going to haul against Newcastle, then go for it. And especially if you're thinking of captaining him, then I would go ahead. If it was my team, I probably would take the hit in that case, but it's up to you really, because Bamford could still do well. You can't just write him off completely. Alioski or Soufal first on the bench. There's not much in between that. To be honest, I think both of them will blank. That's a tough one. Soufal's more likely to get an attacking return, especially with, you know, him being really good at home. But I don't know, maybe Alioski, maybe a bit more likely. I don't know, actually. You know, that's really tough. Who do I start, Johnston or McCarthy? I mean, let's look at West Brom's fixture. Fulham at home. Yeah, fair enough. But even then, I don't know. Probably go for Johnston in this case, but most times I would be telling you, no. just forget it. Just get McCarthy. But yeah, keeping Foden isn't a good choice. There's no such thing as, you know, a bad or good choice, you know. With City, different people pop up every single week. So if you've kept Foden for this long, I would just keep him for now. But ideally, you'd want to have Gundogan or Sterling until Kevin De Bruyne comes back. Then, obviously, he comes into the mix. The City defenders, obviously. Apart from that, I wouldn't really consider anyone else. I know a lot of people, or some people are considering, you know, Ederson, or they have him. I just wouldn't want to waste a keeper slot on Ederson. So, in my opinion, Stones, Cancelo, Diaz, De Bruyne when he's fit, Gundogan, Sterling, those are the best ones. Then there's Foden. He's a decent one, but I wouldn't get rid of him with this fixture. He could do really well. Statistically, probably the best attacker at the moment, or one of the best. I held a poll on Twitter out of 100, 50% vote gone to Bamford. Looks like I got the answer. Yeah, no, you definitely didn't. But that's the thing. A lot of these questions are tough, and if you're struggling with them, other people are going to struggle to answer them for you. Wilson and Soucek to Calvert-Lewin and Gundogan for a -4 hit. I would go for it, but with Soucek, you know what could happen. He could haul at any point, but I would go for it. But it's up to you. It's ultimately up to you. Bench Bamford or Soucek? I'd probably bench Bamford, but it's up to you. It's literally your team. There's not much in between both of them. My Bruno song, work last game week, need to jinx Gundogan now. Here you go. Well, I swear you're a United fan. I mean, why would you want to jinx Bruno? If Bruno doesn't do well, United don't do well. That's the way I see it. But yeah, either way, Bruno, he's been poor for 4 weeks. He's only got 1 fantasy assist in the last 4. So really, in hindsight, maybe not the best captaincy choice, but, you know, that's easy to say now. Smith Rowe to Grealish for a -4. Yeah, I mean, if it was a free transfer, I'd say, yeah, you know, in a heartbeat, you know, you could go for it. I don't think Grealish will just pay off those points for this week, but going forward, he will. Thanks, Dylan. Just made my transfers. Saka and Wilson to Son and DCL -4 hit. My team is McCarthy, Diaz, Cancelo, Justin, Salah. Vice captain, Gundogan captain, Fernandes, Son, DCL, Bamford, Antonio. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah. There's not much, there's no weakness there, so to speak. Start Soucek or Robbo? I'd start Robertson for sure, but Who knows at this point. Bamford and Wilson to Cavani and DCL for a -4 hit. I don't know about Cavani. DCL, yes, get him in. Probably for Wilson if you can afford it. But I mean, you can afford it. Yeah, just do Wilson to DCL and keep Bamford. I wouldn't get Cavani in just yet. He has to cement a spot in order to really be worth it. Hi, love your content. Do you think I should captain Gundogan or for differential Rodriguez versus Newcastle? If you're going to captain a differential, and thank you for your comment, I would captain a differential if you are confident they will do well. Don't just captain someone for the sake of them being a differential. Captain them because you think they're going to do really well or that they can do really well, and you're obviously going to get a big advantage out of it. If it was me, I would still go for Gundogan, but even then, I don't think that many people in the world are going to be captaining Gundogan. He might be one of the most popular choices this week, but you know, it's not going to be like Salah most weeks or Bruno before obviously they started blanking. So yeah, I would go for Gundogan, but always back your gut. Nope, Cancelo would not be benched. He's one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League at the moment. Yeah, but he's been benched before, and Pep and City have so much depth. So if you have Walker as well to come in, and Zinchenko, who's been doing all right when he's come in, so like there's not really a big deal. And they're facing Sheffield, who, although they've been decent recently, I already talked about them. You know, in the last 4 game weeks, 7th best defense in terms of expected goals conceded. But still, City have so much firepower, and I don't know. There's a chance he might get benched. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he will. I think he will start, but there is a chance. You know, you can't just write it off, especially with Pep Guardiola. Watkins or DCL this week? DCL definitely, in my opinion. DCL in for Kane for a -4? Yeah, I mean, that's what I did, so I'm not going to tell you to not do it. But then again, it's ultimately up to you. It is a risk. Tempted by DCL captain? Definitely, John. Definitely. I'm really tempted by it. That's why he's my vice captain. I might just go for it. And because of the statistic I read, it's also important not just to think about form, but also the teams they're playing against. I mean, look at Gundogan against West Brom, the worst defence in the league by a country mile. And look what Gundogan did, even Cancelo with goals. Calvert-Lewin against Newcastle, yeah, he hasn't scored since game week 11. You would think he's due a haul. And everyone's back for Everton, really, apart from the central midfielders like Allen and Doucouré, I believe. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to captain Calvert-Lewin. He's going to be a bit of a differential in terms of captaincy. I'm really tempted, I can't lie. I might change my captain before the deadline. And yeah, wow, still 42 minutes left. Wow, I thought it was actually like 10:30 or something. Salah or Mane? I still think Salah, but obviously recently Mane has been better in FPL. I just think Salah, you know, very unlucky to have that goal disallowed because it hit off Dyer, then went off Firmino's hand. That's really unlucky, really. It should have counted for him, but it is what it is. Thoughts on Sterling captain? I think if I had him, I would probably be captaining him. That's the way I see it. So I think he's a great captaincy choice this week. Maddison, Barnes, or Gundogan for the long term? For the long term, that's a good question. Probably Gundogan. Out of the Leicester assets, Barnes, I mean, if you look at statistics, Barnes is the clear winner. I've always said this, but I was just tempted by Maddison's form and also the runs he was making in the FA Cup, in the Premier League, you know, scoring so often. But if we're talking about sustainability, I think Maddison will still be in and amongst the goals. He's more creative. He'll get more assists than Barnes. But I think Barnes will probably get you slightly more points. Not much in between them, so I'd probably go for Barnes in hindsight. Kane and Rashford out and DCL Salah in for a -4. I mean, getting Salah in on a -4 is a bit bold because he's blanked 6 times in a row. But I would definitely get DCL in for Kane. Maybe Rashford could get a goal or something. His ceiling isn't too high against Arsenal. I mean, you would think. You never know. I'm not sure. What I would do in your case, I would get DCL in. Oh, for a -8. Yeah, no, not for me. I'd get DCL in for Kane. And next week, get Salah in for Rashford. That's what I would do. But then, again, look at Man United's fixtures from Game Week 24 onwards. Let's have a look right here. Some very good ones coming up. You know, you've got West Brom, Newcastle back-to-back. And then, obviously, then it does turn some kind of mediocre fixtures beforehand. But, yeah, I would probably do that. Get Salah in next week. Don't take the -8, in my opinion. Captain Cancelo, thoughts? Bench Soucek or Bamford or Rashford? I would probably bench Bamford, as I said before, but there's not much in between them. I'd definitely start Rashford out of the 3, but there's not much in between them. As for Cancelo, there's a slight risk, I'm saying slight, of him being rotated. I think he will start, though, but it's ultimately up to you what you think. I don't know if he's going to get attacking returns back-to-back games, because if you think about it, before the game against West Brom, he's got 1 assist all season, and that was against West Ham. So yeah, and I think it was for a Foden goal, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm not sure. He's probably the most likely to get at least 6 points out of any player. But then again, his ceiling might not be as high as Gundogan, as Calvert-Lewin, even Son, maybe Salah. So yeah, I'm not sure. I still think he's a good captaincy choice. I don't think I'm going for him personally. What is the audio reading comments and I'm genuinely lost? I'm trying to, what's it called? Catch up on some comments that I didn't read before and also reading some of the new ones. That's the order. Dallas and Bamford to Dini and DCL for -4. Yeah, you know what? I probably would take that hit, and with the positions Dini is playing in, he's playing as a left mid pretty much. I'd probably go for that, to be honest. It is risky, especially, a hit involving a defender, but I'd probably go for that. Bamford or Wilson? Bamford. I'd sell Wilson. I still prefer Bamford over him because Leeds still are better offensively. If you look at Newcastle, they're just dreadful. They're so bad. I think there's a high chance that Stones or Cancelo will be benched today. Good for me. Oh, my God. I mean, I hope both of them play, but yeah, I have a feeling that someone will be benched from the City defence, but we'll have to wait and see, to be honest. With Dylan missing my comments hurts, to be honest. Yeah, well, it's difficult. I apologise. I'm trying to get to the comments, but that's why I'm reading in some next up order at times. You said jump 200k this week. Let's hope my Gundogan captain works. Well, good luck. Hopefully that does work. Would you bring in Son for Anguissa and start him, or Calvert-Lewin for Adams and start him? The bigger upgrade is Son over Anguissa, but I do think this week Calvert-Lewin probably one of the best choices. But then again, he might disappoint. You never know. I'd probably get in Son for Anguissa still, but that's mainly looking... I don't know. I mean, that's mainly looking at in terms of the upgrade for your team. If we're looking long-term in terms of double fixtures and this game week, to be honest, Calvert-Lewin's probably the one you want to get. So, you know what? Go for Calvert-Lewin, but it's up to you ultimately. You would lose Che Adams, who could still do all right this week, but we'll see. When are you planning to wildcard? Probably game week 24 or 25. That's if I continue with my plan to bench boost in 26, which I most likely will. I mean, what other week am I going to bench boost in most likely? So yeah, either 24 or 25 probably, unless I'm already stacked on double game week players and I don't need to wildcard. And then in that case, I could maybe wildcard after game week 29 or something, which is what I did last season actually. I held my wildcard and obviously, yeah, that really helped me. So yeah, that's probably the plan at the moment. Maddison or Barnes? Yeah, Barnes, as I've already said before, in my opinion. And yeah, I have to keep saying this, like, there's no need to spam the chat, because otherwise I will obviously put people on timeout. Bench Bruno and play Pereira against Fulham? Nah, I wouldn't bench Bruno. I know he's blanked 4 times in a row, really, apart from the fantasy assist. He plays Arsenal. Nah, not for me. I would play Pereira if you can, because of the fixture. But for someone else, if you can. Not for him. If you didn't have Gundogan, who'd be your captain? Probably Calvert-Lewin or Son or Cancelo. Probably one of those 3. There is Salah. I'm actually still tempted by him, believe it or not. But I wouldn't captain Stones, I think. I wouldn't captain Grealish or Antonio. Definitely not Martinez. I still probably wouldn't captain Bruno. Definitely not Mitchell or whichever player I had. So yeah, those would be my options. Probably Calvert-Lewin, Son or Salah. Cancelo will be benched today? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not surprised if he does. And it's typical Pep, to be honest. But what can we do? Game week 25 wildcard and bench boost 26 is mine. Yeah, same. But as I said, if I already am stacked on double game week players, I might just save my wildcard for after game week 29. When are you planning to use the triple captaincy? It ultimately depends on the fixtures and the double game week. So I'm targeting, I already said this, 5 players. Bruno, Salah, De Bruyne probably, but maybe not. Maybe he's not the guy to target. Son or Kane. I'm targeting one of those for the triple captaincy. When they have a double game week that I think they can do really well in, I'll probably be using the triple captaincy then. So probably one of the smaller double game weeks, the way I'm looking at it. But who knows at this point. DCL or Watkins in for Kane and Chilwell in for Dallas. -4, so not that happy. Or should I keep Kane on the bench and just get Chilwell? Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I'd probably do DCL and Chilwell in for a -4. If not, just Chilwell and don't take a -4. I wouldn't take a -4 for Watkins, but that's just my opinion. One thing leading towards a DCL move is I already have alright bench cover, so I don't need to bring Son in. But I heard Adams might get a double game week in 24, so I might hold him maybe in case. Yeah, fair enough, but then again, so could Calvert-Lewin, but I think one of the double game weeks is City, so not a great one, to be honest. But yeah, I think DCL is probably the best one in terms of the double game weeks, in terms of the fixtures now for the next two, and even going forward after game week 26, some good fixtures. But yeah, maybe you could go for Son. I mean, there's not much in between them. You can't go wrong with either of them, you would think. Who would you start, Antonio or Castagna? Good question. I would probably start Castagna in that case, but you know what? It's a tough one. Did you see Mourinho playing Kane? And do you see... I think he could. I don't know about 18 points. I don't think the ceiling is that high for Spurs assets, but I wouldn't be surprised. And to be honest, I'd probably hate him even more than I already do. Hi, Dylan. Have Kane and Rashford. Thinking of getting DCL and Salah/Grealish for a -4 thoughts. I'd definitely get DCL in for Kane. As for a -4, it's up to you. You could just get Salah in next week for the Brighton fixture for Rashford, and it doesn't cost you any points, but it's up to you. Still, I can see why you're tempted by a -4. Long term, maybe Grealish is looking the better option than Salah. But I don't know, you just can't go against Salah. I do think he's going to start hauling again. Play Adams or take -4 for DCL? I'd probably take the -4 for DCL, but that's me personally. Adams can still do well this week. Start Johnston or Martinez? I'd probably still start Martinez, but that's a tough one. You know, Johnston's fixture is definitely better. Got Soucek and Martial out for Antonio Mane. This is a bit of a weird week, though, to get Antonio, but you know what, still for the next few I think Antonio's pretty good. Tuchel can prove pundits wrong against Spurs if he can control the game and get goals. I think Tuchel's decent, but I don't know if he's going to succeed at Chelsea. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of managers do flop at Chelsea, but then again you have these Ancelotti's and Mourinho's who do really well. But I'm not sure. I mean, it depends. That's going to be an interesting game to see, Spurs against Chelsea. I really want to watch that one. Imagine the scenes if Mourinho is playing us like tools. Then, you know, to be honest, I'm kind of used to it this season. I'd probably be bringing him back for Game Week 23, and I'd be looking to ship out Bamford. And then I'd try to make funds elsewhere because I think I would be a bit short. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Bro, Vardy in for DCL and take a -4 to change Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Mount out. But for who? I don't like Wan-Bissaka or Mount particularly, especially now with the fixtures and United flopping against Sheffield. But then again, Mount going to be in and out of that Chelsea team, I reckon. There's only going to be one spot in the attacking midfield. It will be between him and Havertz. Tuchel might prefer Havertz. So I'd get rid of Mount. And as for who, you could get Barnes, you could get Grealish. It depends on how much money you have to play with. Maybe Gundogan. Those would be the three that come to mind. Justin for Kyle Walker-Peters replacement. Yeah, I think I already said this with Kyle Walker-Peters replacements. Justin, Target, another City defender if you don't have them already. Those are all the best options. Soufal or Creswell, although not for this week, I will admit. Yeah, I think those are the best ones. And Digne, I have to say, and Chilwell. Apart from that, not really interested in many others, but I think those are the best ones, and Justin's right up there. So yeah, I think he's a good one. DCL Son in for a -4. Depends who you're bringing out, Calvin, but yeah, I like those moves. Good players. Decide the order of my bench. Wan-Bissaka, Soucek, Soufal. Probably Soucek first, Wan-Bissaka second, Soufal third. And if not, you could swap Soucek and Wan-Bissaka. But it's up to you. Rashford to Son for a -4 or leave it for a week. If Kane was fit, I'd probably say take the hit, but I'm not sure. I'd probably leave it for a week. Start Meslier or McCarthy and Bamford or Rodrigo. I'd start McCarthy and I'd probably start on form Rodrigo, but normally I would say Bamford. Leicester to keep a clean sheet against Leeds. I think they might concede 1 goal, but I don't see Leeds scoring 2 or more. I'll be honest, I don't see that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they score 1. I don't see the ceiling being too high for Leeds assets, in my opinion. I think the move is Adams to DCL and hope he gets a double and bring in a Spurs asset in 23. This also means I can see Spurs without Kane and maybe he's even back by then. Yeah, that's fair enough. And to be honest, Kane could be back for that West Brom game. Yeah, normally these injuries, especially for Kane, are just exaggerated and then, yeah, it just turns out to be nothing. So, yeah, fair enough. That's a good plan. Dylan, thoughts on getting in Sterling and DCL for Kane and Soucek? To be honest, yeah, I like those moves. Although I will admit, after the next two, I'm not really too interested in Sterling. But for these 2 game weeks, if I could change my team every week, Sterling would be in right now, and for next week probably. So yeah, I would make those moves for this week. Going forward, Sterling, not really too interested. Digne in for size for a -4. Defender transfers rarely pay off in terms of hits. I will admit, but if there's ever a week where Digne can get a really high score, it's probably here against Newcastle. The clean sheet, maybe bonus points, assists, goals. I'm not interested in Wolves' assets, but the fixture isn't too bad this week. You know, Palace away. I probably wouldn't take the hit, in my opinion, but I would maybe get Digne in next week for free. Thoughts on Maddison captain? He could do really well. Leeds, the way they play, it's always a decent team to target. However, I probably wouldn't captain him if I had him. I probably still look to Sterling, Gundogan, Calvert-Lewin, even Salah or Cancelo, in my opinion anyway. What do you think about Odegaard? I think he's really talented, and I've heard of him since, 2013? When he was 15, he made his debut for Norway. He's a talented player, but, he has to prove in the Premier League, and he's going to be contending with Smith Rowe most likely. But then again, he could also play on the right. The way he plays, I do like. I really like how he plays. But the most important thing with him is gaining consistency. But then again, with Madrid, really difficult to do that when, you never get played, you never get the opportunities. But I hope he does really well, I have a feeling he could do really well. But, I'm going to try play down my expectations. Justin for a -4. Yeah, just like I said with Digne, I wouldn't take a hit for a defender if you can help it. So I'll just make that move next week or the week after. Would you take Kane and Soucek out for DCL and Son? Yes, I would. But with Soucek, he could come back to bite you. So don't shoot the messenger if he does. Hey man, would you play Johnston against Fulham or Fabianski against Liverpool? Definitely Johnston against Fulham. And would you bench Soucek or Justin? I would bench Soucek in that case. What do you think about Pereira for Foden? He might be good for this week, but going forward, would you want Pereira? Nah, I wouldn't go for that. No, I think Foden is still a better asset than Pereira. Plays in a much better team, posts much better stats. So I'd still go for that. Sterling captain, yeah, I like that. Sterling captain is really good. Let me try to get back to the question because it literally jumped forward. Sterling captain, where the hell did this go? Wow, yeah, my bad. This chat is kind of bugging out at the moment. Yeah, okay, I got the comment back. My apologies for that. Yeah, I would captain Sterling if I had him, but that's me. But yeah, Sterling, one of the best captaincy choices this week. Kyle Walker-Peters to Dyer. I'm not too sure about getting Dyer in right now. I mean, if you saw how they're defending against Liverpool, I know it's Liverpool, but it's just poor. Some good fixtures coming up like West Brom, but you got Chelsea and City in between. Even West Ham after that is a difficult one. If you remember, Spurs conceded 3 last time. So, nah, I think there's better options. So, in terms of Kyle Walker-Peters replacements, either another City defender if you don't have them, Soufal going forward or Creswell, and if not, Justin, Digne, Chilwell, Target. Those are the people I would target. I wouldn't go for Dyer, in my opinion. Would you get rid of Bamford or Wilson for DCL? I'd still get rid of Wilson. I prefer Bamford. He's got more points this season. He's got a better attacking team, although they're not passing it to him as much, and he's looking really bad. I'd probably get rid of Wilson, but it's up to you. Sterling or Gundogan for captain? Not much in between that. They've got really similar statistics if you actually look at it. Sterling is slightly better for expected goal involvements. I'd probably go for Sterling, but there's not much in between that. Trust me. Will Digne be as good as Cancelo? No, not as good because 1, City are much better defensively, and 2, Cancelo plays as a midfielder most of the time. With Digne, he's playing as a left mid right now, but when Doucouré and Allen are back, Ancelotti might shift again to Digne at left back and stuff like that. But yeah, to be honest, I actually think there is a chance that he continues to play as a left mid, but I just prefer Cancelo. Much better asset. Much better team, much better defence, but Digne can be good, and he's someone I'm actually interested in, and I normally aren't, because if you look at his points, they're so volatile. He can get 15 points one week, then -1 the next when he gets a red card. Captain Son, Salah, Martial. Out of those 3, probably Son, and if not Salah. Martial, no, definitely not, and if he was awful the other day. Cancelo or Digne captain? Cancelo, in my opinion, but both good for this week. Perfect breakfast? I normally eat continental style, but yeah, I have eaten English style breakfast before, and I have to say it is fulfilling. But yeah, probably continental style. Search that up. Should I sub in Mendy, Burnley, or keep Martinez, Soucek? Soucek. Why did I say Soucek? I just keep saying I see SOU and I just say Soucek. I'd probably go for Mendy in that case, but I wouldn't transfer in Mendy. If you know what I mean. But I would, if you have both of them, then yeah, I'd start Mendy this week for sure. DCL for Bamford better or Digne for Walker Peters better for a -4? Probably DCL for Bamford more. That's the reason why I didn't get rid of Walker Peters and instead I got rid of Kane, because Calvert-Lewin has a much better chance of getting a big haul than any defender I would bring in for Walker Peters. So yeah, I'd probably go for Calvert-Lewin in that case. Ali says, captain one of Cancelo, DCL, Gundogan and Salah, leaning towards Cancelo. I'd probably captain Gundogan or DCL, but Cancelo's a good one, Salah's still a good choice, and yeah, I mean, I've got all four of them just like you, and at the moment I got on Gundogan, but I can't lie, I mean, we've got 24 minutes left for the deadline, I might go for Calvert-Lewin, but it's one of those two, Calvert-Lewin or Gundogan for me. I have Kane, Welbeck, Lamptey and Reguilon out. Do I wildcard? Ooh, I mean, it depends on the rest of your team. If you have a good team overall, you've got 11 players or whatever, then it's fine, but you could wildcard. But obviously the issue with that, especially if you haven't bench boosted yet, is that you might not be able to stack up on double game week players for game week 26, but it might be worth considering, to be honest. What is wrong with this chat? Seriously. Apologies for this. The chat is literally... Let me close it and get it back up again. Yeah, I'm literally getting comments that are... Wow, I've never happened to me before. I'm literally getting comments that I've already read before. No wonder I'm reading them in a jumble. Yeah, Burke to Son or Grealish for a -4. Cheers, asked Mark. And in this moment in time, long term, I would probably go for Grealish, but for this game week only, Son is probably the better one. Thanks a lot, Dylan. No problem, Rai. Thank you for your comment. Grealish out, Son in. I wouldn't get rid of Grealish. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Would you start Johnston or Martinez? And which one out of Dallas, Soufal and Creswell would you start? And which bench, one or two? I'd start Johnston probably, and I don't expect any of them to do well. I'd probably start Soufal in this case, and I already discussed this. If you have Soufal and Creswell, I'd be more inclined to start Soufal in the home games and Creswell in the away games if you had to pick between one of them. And Dallas would probably be my first sub, Creswell second, but that's a tough one, there's not much in between them. If I'm being honest, the maximum points I can see any of them getting is probably 5 for a clean sheet, realistically anyway, unless Dallas gets one of those consolation goals like he did against Man United and he gets 8 points or whatever. But yeah, that's probably how I would structure it. Changed my decision a bit, went for Watkins over DCL. Probably going to haunt me. Kept Kane and got Chilwell in for Dallas. I now have no Leeds options. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people are getting rid of Leeds assets. They're looking pretty poor at the moment. And as for Watkins, I don't particularly like that myself. I wouldn't have done it, but you know what? It might pay off for you this game week. But I just think Calvert-Lewin this week could do it extremely well. And long term, I just prefer him. What I like about players when I get them in is, are they the talisman for their team? Calvert-Lewin is definitely the talisman for Everton. For Villa, it's definitely Grealish. That's why I tried to have those players in. Salah for Liverpool, although recently he hasn't really been doing anything. But yeah, good luck to you. I mean, Watkins is still a good option. I mean, right now, in terms of ranking strikers, with Kane out, I'd probably say first, at least for this game week, is Calvert-Lewin. Then you got like Antonio, and then Watkins is probably up there, and I normally don't like him, but he's looking alright at the moment. In terms of bonus points, not too good, but we'll have to wait and see how he does. Martinez and goal, Meslier, Martinez. Need to start 3 of them. Creswell, Justin, Cancelo, Bellerin, Mitchell. That's pretty easy in my opinion. Cancelo, Justin, and probably Mitchell actually. And if not, just go for either one of the other two. I think Bellerin's lost his spot, He could start against Manchester United, but what I think will happen if Tierney's fit, Tierney will play left back and Cedric will play right back, and Cedric's been pretty good recently. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Ariella got me 10 points. Legend might do something today too. Yeah, that's why I remember someone asked me the other day, who should I get from West Brom and Fulham? And I literally said, just Areola. Like, out of those teams, if you want someone defensively, get Areola. Apart from that, not interested in anyone else. He's pretty decent. Kane or Justin? For this game week, probably Kane. But overall, I think Justin's the better asset still. Salah or Kane? Have neither. Oh, Salah or Kane. Salah or Mane? I mean, you could go for Mane because he's a differential and he's been on form in terms of FPL points. I still prefer Salah though. So, yeah. In your case though, not having any of them, I'd probably go for Mane. But, yeah, I'm not getting rid of Salah for Mane right now anyway. Mount for Grealish, Maddison or Barnes? For Grealish, definitely in my opinion. Cancelo, Sterling, Gundogan and DCL, who should I captain and vice captain? I mean, I always say this, it's ultimately up to you. You have to back your gut because you might think of something and then I say something else and then, you know, you end up saying, why didn't I trust my own instincts? But in my opinion, I'd probably captain Sterling. And because I don't like vice captaining people from the same team with the COVID environment we have, I'd vice captain DCL. That's just how I see it anyway. DCL captain with Digne, vice captain. Watkins, Areola for -12, but taking big punt. Sounds ridiculous, hoping to nail it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is with -8s, I mean, I've taken -8s in back-to-back weeks. Then this week I'm taking a -4. It's hard to gain those points back for the game week. Going forward, you might make up those points, but for the game week, very difficult for you to do so. But yeah, fair enough. And as for one piece of advice I would say is that try to vice captain someone else from a different team. Because if the game is cancelled for whatever reason, you literally have no captain. So it's best to have a captain and vice captain from different teams. That's the way I see it. And let's zoom back in. Everyone's seen my bench already. And I will go back to it afterwards. DCL is good for this game week, but I doubt for the long term. Not necessarily. He's got a good game week coming up next. And he's got double game weeks coming up soon. And after game week 26, very good fixtures. And if you look at all the strikers, Kane injured, Vardy injured, Calvert-Lewin is still a better option than Watkins in my opinion. Even Antonio this game week, you know, and in game week 24-5, the fixtures turn for West Ham. So, you know, everyone's going to have periods, but we'll have to wait and see. Should I replace Bruno with Salah? Not in this moment in time, especially for a hit anyway, but yeah, I mean, both of them are underperforming, but I do expect both of them to get their act together, especially Salah. Play Antonio or Bamford, got Robertson. I'd probably still play Antonio, and in a way, you do guarantee yourself a return, or nearly guarantee, but then again, if a West Ham player scores that's not Antonio and Robertson obviously doesn't keep the clean sheet, then you're kind of doomed, but I'd probably just about go Antonio, but it's not much in between both of them because of the fixture. What are your thoughts on Zaha next week? Has a lot of easy games. I've been asked about Zaha multiple times and he scored last game week, but I'm still not interested. He's got good fixtures, but Palace are rubbish. And yeah, I say that and I've got Mitchell, but he's just a budget option and he's only there because of Walker-Peters. Zaha, I mean, he's still a decent option, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, you know, just forget about him, but the way I see it, Barnes, in my opinion, better option. Maddison, better option. Grealish, better option. All the midfielders you see on my screen, I think, better options. So yeah, even Soucek, Saka, I actually think they're better options. Gundogan, yeah, which obviously he's already my team. Yeah, I think there's plenty of better options than him, but he's still decent. He's still decent, just not for me. Bring in DCL or Son, who is priority in my opinion. For this game week, I would say Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The long-term asset going up until the end of the season, probably Son. Maupay or Watkins or Bamford? Watkins out of those three at the moment, but if Bamford was on form, he's definitely my pick out of the three. Martinez and Mesle. Martinez. Bring in DCL or Son, who is priority. DCL for this game week. Going forward, maybe a different answer. Would you take a -4 hit to go from Soucek to Son? Already got DCL and then bench Bamford? I would do that, but it is risky with Soucek. You know how he is, but I would probably do that, Blues FPL. Should I captain DCL? If you think he's going to do well. I mean, it's up to you. Depends also who else you have, but he's definitely one of the best options this week in my opinion, so he's definitely worth considering at least. Great stream, going to head out and play some FIFA. Cheers, mate. FIFA at this time, I mean, to be fair, might be a different time zone, but thank you for joining in, Ty, and good luck for this game week. Come to think of it, should I get rid of Bamford instead of Adams? If not, is it maybe better to play Dallas instead of Bamford? I would probably still get rid of Adams instead because Southampton's offensive statistics are even worse than Leeds. So, and I still prefer Bamford, still a lot more points this year. But I can see what you mean. Both of them are looking pretty poor. There's not much to split them. Normally, they're, you know, Bamford's the clear winner. I would still get rid of Adams, but that's just me. Play 2, bench 1, Dallas, Creswell, Soucek. From those 3, I mean, it's a tough one. I'd probably play Soucek and probably Dallas, but not much in between that. Chilwell or Lucas Digne? Oh my god. Chilwell maybe a bit more reliable in terms of clean sheets. In terms of attacking potential, I think Digne is slightly better. For this game week, Digne. But whenever someone asks me who's better, this player or this player, it's a different, answer. If you say who's the better option this week and who's the better option overall, I think Chilwell's the better option overall. But for this game week and even the one coming up, it's definitely Digne. Should I get in Son or DCL? DCL for this game week, in my opinion. Captain Sterling, DCL, or Maddison. Also have Gundogan. I would captain Sterling from those lot, but DCL also worth considering, and even Gundogan. Ziyech to Grealish for a -8. I mean, to be fair, this is a fixture that Ziyech did really well in, the reverse fixture at Turf Moor. I'd probably not take the hit for this week, but I would get rid of Ziyech next week, especially if Chelsea, don't look too good, and if Ziyech is kind of, flat, then I get Grealish in next week. And also, think about it. If you take a -4 for Grealish, and then he gets a yellow card and he's suspended for the next game, that's just going to be awful. So I would probably just get Ziyech, yeah. Just stay with Ziyech and get Grealish in next week. Why Antonio? Well, if I'm being honest, because West Ham offensively, one of the best teams at the moment. I think they're second in terms of expected goals over the last few game weeks. Bamford is misfiring. I don't really have any faith in him. I think Leeds, just like West Ham, I think their kind of limit is 1 goal, maybe 2 at a push. To be honest, I have more confidence in West Ham attack. Liverpool away from home do concede a lot of chances. And Leicester at home, and even defensively, they've been pretty solid. And then have Soufal at home to Liverpool. Nah, I'd rather have Antonio. I think it's more likely that Antonio will score than Soufal keeping a clean sheet. So that's why Antonio is starting at the moment. However, I will admit, there's not much to split Antonio and Bamford this week. But Antonio's the informed player. Bamford has a tough fixture regardless. So I've gone for Antonio. Dylan, did you take a hit this week or no? Yeah, I did. I got Gundogan in for Basuma. And then when Kane got injured, I got rid of him for Calvert-Lewin. I thought it was worth the risk. I could have just stuck with Bamford, not taken a hit and have no Calvert-Lewin, but I just really wanted Calvert-Lewin, and I had him most of the season. Got rid of him ahead of Game Week 19, and I've got him back already, so here we are. I took a -4 in Game Week 20. Is it worth taking a -4 again this week to replace Kane to DCL and upgrading Basuma to Mane? Do you think Mane or Salah? Yeah, I think it's worth the other hit to get DCL in. I do actually think it is worth it, but it's up to you. It's ultimately, if you don't think Calvert-Lewin's going to do well this week, or you don't think he's going to get more than a goal, not worth it. But I think DCL has the potential for a big score. And Basuma to Mane, Salah or Mane, that's a tough one. I still prefer Salah, but if you're looking for a differential, you're looking for someone who's in form, then Mane is obviously the clear choice. But yeah, I still prefer Salah. Hey, should I start Leno or McCarthy? I'd start McCarthy for sure. Play Antonio, Robertson or Justin. Out of those 3, I'd bench Antonio from the 3 for sure. I mean, I'd start Robertson and I'd probably start Justin too if you can. I don't know if this was discussed earlier, but if you don't have Gundogan or Son, would you still captain Salah? It depends, because I'd probably have Sterling in that case. I would really want to have a City asset for the next few game weeks. But yeah, if I didn't have both of them, my captain would be... No, it would be Calvert-Lewin probably, in my case. But if not, maybe Salah, yeah. Cancelo's another one. But yeah, Salah would definitely be right up there, either vice-captain or captain. Shall I captain Salah? Up to you. He's off form, but I think he's going to get the goals. When? I just don't know. He should have got one against Spurs, but it is what it is. Grealish or Saka? Grealish. I still think Grealish is the better option. Saka, however, for his price bracket, in my opinion, the best along with Soucek. You can't really go wrong, but Grealish is the better asset. Start Neto or Bamford? I'll probably start Neto. I woke up 5 minutes ago. Glad I woke up, or I would have missed the deadline. Yeah, I mean, that's happened to me before, I will be honest. But yeah, it's good to wake up early anyway. So it's good, trust me. Gundogan or DCL for the armband? I mean, I don't know. It's between both of them. Just back your gut, really. The reason why I'm saying back your gut is because I literally don't know. I've got the captaincy on Gundogan. I've got the vice captaincy on Calvert-Lewin. There's literally nothing to split them. Gundogan has the form. Calvert-Lewin doesn't. But Calvert-Lewin has the better fixture. And he's also got everyone back. And when Calvert-Lewin has Digne, Richarlison and James in the same team, he averages around 8 points per game. So literally, the more I talk about Calvert-Lewin, the more tempted I am to captain him. But I'm just scared of... Well, not scared, but I'm a bit worried about... changing the captaincy and then the original captain does better, but whatever. It is what it is. Salah or Mane? I mean, I already answered your question, Irish. In your case, I'd go for Mane, but I prefer Salah. DCL and Antonio in for Bamford and Wilson. I just get DCL in this week. I wouldn't... Just keep Bamford, sell Wilson for DCL, and get Antonio in next week for Bamford. Do that. I don't think there's a reason to take a -4. If they're 2 free transfers... then fair enough, you could do that. But Antonio against Liverpool, the ceiling isn't too high. But DCL for Wilson, definitely a no-brainer for you, Ragav. Captain Son, Bruno, Salah, Grealish, Sterling or DCL? For me, it would be Sterling. If not, probably DCL. Should I go with Martinez or Areola this week? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a really good question. I'd probably just edge towards Areola, but that's a tough one. I took a -8 KWP to James, Burke, Maddison, and Kane DCL. Fair enough. I mean, good luck, but yeah, hits. I mean, wait, KWP to Reece James, that's really risky because what if he doesn't start? I mean, good luck, but I don't know. I'm just have to say good luck. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Do you like this midfield? Foden, Gundogan, Mane, Son, Bruno. I like that midfield. Going forward, though, I'd probably get rid of Foden for someone else. Maybe like Grealish if you can afford him. But yeah, I like that midfield. Just brought in Gundogan for KDB and now have around 7 million in the bank. Any players you recommend? I have Davis up front that could do with a change. Yeah, I'd probably change Davis in that case. For DCL, if you don't have him, he would be the #1 target I would have in mind. Because, yeah, Antonio I wouldn't bring him for this week. I'd bring him after. And Watkins is another one you could go for. And all the premium strikers are either off form or injured. So, yeah, I'd probably go for Calvert-Lewin if you don't have him. Took a -4 to getting Grealish and DCL. Going to captain DCL. Yeah, fair enough. And Grealish and DCL look pretty good. Obviously, Grealish has the yellow card risk, but good options, I think. DCL captain, yeah. He's a good option this week. I might change it. But yeah, it's up to you ultimately. Imagine FPL with Messi and Ronaldo would become so easy. I don't know. Because a lot of funds would go into them. They'd be like 14, 15 million or something. At least in their prime they would have been. I mean, imagine Messi in 2012 with 91 goals in a year. That would be crazy. But yeah. DCL, Vinicius, Giroud. DCL, there's no debate. Should I start Martinez or Areola? Areola, as I already said. Not much in between them, though. Wilson or Adams out for a -4. Wilson out. Play Shaw or Bamford? I'd probably go for Shaw, but only just. That's I don't know, actually. I don't expect United to keep a clean sheet, but Shaw could get an attacking return. You know what, just go for Bamford, but I don't know. There's not much in between them. I think they'll both blank, but we'll wait and see. DCL or Sterling for captaincy? Sterling, probably, but not much in between them. Take a hit to get Mane and captain or just captain DCL? Oh, that's a good question. I'd just captain DCL in my opinion. Start Bamford or Soucek? I'd start Soucek. Play Martinez or Johnston? I already answered this, but yeah, I'd probably start Johnston. But to be honest, West Brom are shit. Yeah, West Brom are shit. So it's up to you. I'm just saying that because of the fixture. But yeah, Martinez is... I don't know. Southampton are decent. I don't know, just, yeah, back your gut with that one. I mean, Johnston has the better fixture, but you know what, I'll go with Martinez. Martinez or Mendy in goal? Mendy, definitely, that's a no-brainer. Start Dallas or Soufal? Dallas. DCL 5 goals in the last 4 against Newcastle. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Thank you for that, El Padrino. Yeah, good record against Newcastle. Newcastle are awful. You know, I can't lie, I'm really tempted, and I don't know. I just have a feeling Gundogan this might be the game where he blanks. And I say that, and he's my captain, so yeah. Well, really, really tempted, I can't lie, about captaining Calvert-Lewin. Digne in for Robertson? No. Why get rid of Robertson ahead of West Ham away and Brighton at home? Get rid of him after that when he's got City, but not now. I wouldn't do that. Dallas, Soufal or Kilman? Dallas, probably out of the 3. Actually, no, my bad. Start Kilman. If he doesn't start, he probably won't come on. And then Dallas your first sub, Soufal your second sub. No, not Reece James. James Justin. All right, my bad. Yeah, that's a good transfer. Yeah, my bad, Akil. That's better. Because with Reece James, he might do really well for Chelsea, but I don't know. At the moment, he doesn't seem like a guaranteed starter. He might put Hudson-Odoi as a right wing back. Who knows? Play Martinez or Johnston? Yeah, I already revisited this answer. Martinez. Just play Martinez. But back you got. Bench ones. Martial, Soucek or Bamford? Tough one. I'd probably bench Martial or Bamford. If I had to bench one, probably Martial. Digne in for Robertson or Adams to DCL? Adams to DCL. Why Robertson out? That's the way I see it. Captain Salah or Gundogan? Gundogan for me, but tough one. Start Justin or Soufal? I would start Justin for sure. Barnes or Maddison? Barnes. Because of the underlying statistics, which are more sustainable. Maddison is going to get more assists this season, most likely. He's going to create more chances. He's on set pieces. But Barnes is probably going to get more goals, more points. And he's less injury prone. So I'd probably go for Barnes. McCarthy or Martinez to start? That's a tough one. I would probably just about go with Martinez. But that's a tough one. Just a tip from me. Remove that armband and give it to DCL or Salah. Well, it's funny that you say that. I literally was just about to change it, I think. I'm just telling you, Calvert-Lewin, everything just points towards him. But then you look at his returns. They've been poor. He hasn't scored a goal since game week 11. Is he due? You would think so. Oh my God. It's just that Newcastle fixture, it's so tempting. And I already said it, defensively, Sheffield are much better than Newcastle, especially over the last 4 game weeks. Sheffield might concede 3, but I don't see them conceding 4-5. If City were playing Newcastle right now, oh my God, I would definitely be captaining Gundogan, even Cancelo, all these people. Although they did play recently and it was 2-0. Oh my God, you know what? Just so tempted by DCL. I don't think I'd go for Salah, but DCL, yeah, definitely. I might change it in the last few seconds. Sterling in. Yeah. If I could, I would probably be bringing Sterling in for this week. But yeah, I captained James Rodriguez. Good luck with that. It's a bit bold, but yeah, that could pay off for you. I might captain Calvert-Lewin, maybe to my peril. Oh my God. It's definitely one. I brought both of them in for a hit, so captaining him and they do well. That obviously kind of already erodes the hit. Oh my God, you know what? These are the decisions that make or break your week, Oh my God. I'm laughing now, but will it end in tears? Calvert-Lewin captain. Is it a sign of madness? I don't know. Salah or DCL captain? DCL in my opinion, but who knows? Hey, new here. Why not captain Bruno? Because he's playing Arsenal away. He's blanked in 4 games in a row. I know he got a fantasy assist against Fulham, but no goals or actual assists in the last 4. Arsenal got the second best defence this season. Then you look at Calvert-Lewin. He's playing the worst defence in the league at the moment, apart from West Brom. Gundogan and Cancelo, they're great captaincy options. You have a decent fixture. Son, Brighton away. That's a better fixture than Arsenal away. Then you got Salah. I'm more confident of those players hauling. It's up to you though. If you think Bruno's going to do well, then captain him, but just not for me. But then again, Bruno away from home is, really, really good. Only blanked twice officially or 3 times. So yeah, it's a tough one. Play Mitchell or Dallas or take a hit out to get Digne. Probably play Mitchell, and yeah, if you want to take a hit, Digne would probably be first on the list, to get in. It's doing it again. It's doing it again with this. I need to see why it does that. I don't know if it's an update or something that's just come out. The live chat is just mad at the moment. I don't know what's happening. Thank you, Mickey. No problem. And good luck to Savage Mode. Only 1 minute left to the deadline. Wow, I actually changed my captaincy quite late on. Will I regret it? Well, I'll wait and see. Yeah, this chat is literally bugging me, I can't lie. But thank you everyone who has joined in. I really appreciate it. And as you see here, a late captaincy change to the guy on the thumbnail. Probably the best captaincy choice, or one of the best captaincy choices. The best choice to replace Kane. And yeah, a lot of people will be shipping that guy out. But if Kane comes in and then does a madness, then, we're all going to be kicking ourselves and hating on Mourinho. And to be honest, that's quite an easy thing to do already. But so many captaincy choices this week. It's so open. Thank you, Mantra. Good luck to you as well. And yeah, I did change it. I know it's really maybe bold or stupid. One of the two, hopefully. Isn't Salah all obvious after all these blanks? Yeah, but then you could have said that last week against Tottenham or the week before against Burnley. I mean, I don't know. It's not so obvious in my opinion. He's been very unlucky as well, if you're looking at it. And to be fair, in 4 of those blanks, Liverpool didn't score a goal at all. So how are you going to score a goal if everyone's struggling? You know, to be fair, you might be right. You might be right about Salah. Maybe he is the obvious one, but I don't know. West Ham are decent. Yeah, you got a point, I guess. But then again, who knows? There's no guarantee. Captain the player in form. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That might be true, but I don't know. It's just that fixture. I'm normally a form guy, but still, I really do, obviously value fixtures. Captain Salah or Son? Probably Son, but you know what? Salah. Whenever people don't, when people doubt Salah, he does business. DCL captain, at least you're done with it early. Everton early kickoff. Oh, yeah, that's true. Early kickoffs. Oh, no. Early kickoffs. I don't know. There's just something about early kickoffs. Peter Stadinier for a -4, yes or no? Yes, I guess, yeah. Captain Salah, he's a good choice, to be honest. This is probably the best time to captain Salah when most people are just not going to be thinking about him. This might be the chance to do it, to be honest. And I say that, and he's not my captain, and the deadline's already passed. Sterling in, yes, as I've already said before. Who's the better captain, Salah, Foden, Fernandes, Werner? Out of those 4, probably Salah. James Justin and Gundogan or Tyrick Mitchell and Sterling? James Justin and Gundogan. Thank you, yeah, Mickey. I already said that before. Cancelo, please start, yeah? Yeah, hopefully. If he doesn't, then yeah, we're in trouble. Yeah, guys, 55 watching and only 34 likes. Hit the like button. Yeah, thank you, Yusuf, and thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate it. Also, after Gundogan, so many hauls. His blanks look more obvious this week or next. Yeah, but then again, I don't know. Sometimes we say these kind of things and then they just keep hauling and hauling. But he's in my team, so as long as Calvert-Lewin does well, gets at least a goal and an assist or something, I'm happy. Obviously, maybe in hindsight, the problem with captaining Calvert-Lewin is that, apart from the West Brom game, which they were down to 10 men, he tends to get 6 to 8 points, But I don't know. I think the way I'm looking at it right now, I want to captain someone who's probably less likely to blank. But then again, I could have just gone for Cancelo. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin, Cancelo, Gundogan, Son, Salah. So many choices this week. I literally could have captained any of them. And I've ended up with Calvert-Lewin. Let's see how that ends up going. Sometimes you got to take risks. He's been in poor form overall. But thank you everyone who has joined in. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's how my team's looking for Game Week 21. The deadline has passed. And really appreciate it. I will be doing a deadline stream on the Saturday. And it will be later on. I believe it will be at 3:30 p.m. UK time or GMT. And if you haven't already, smash the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you're new around here, subscribe. It costs nothing. And yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You can send me your teams there. On Twitter, I post regularly. Whether it's injuries, stats, stuff like that. And always offer my opinion. And I'm a very opinionated person. And yeah, a lot of good football to be played over this week. And we've got deadlines every few days, so we've got to be on top of all these things. And yeah, I'm going to be uploading yet another video. I'm going to be uploading yet another video probably on the Monday. And on the Tuesday, obviously, we do have the other deadline. And then I think, then we got a week's break or something, or on the Saturday. So many game weeks, literally I'm losing count of them. But thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all your support. And I'll see you next time.